Meet Gustavo Giordano, an executive protection specialist, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under the legendary master Rigan Machado, and a man who has spent more than 25 years operating in some of the most demanding and high-risk environments in the world, from the offshore oil fields of Latin America, Africa, the Middle East, and Europe, to protecting executives, leaders, and high-profile individuals. Gustavo has built his life around one word: protection. Welcome to Lo que Callan los Hombres, What Men Don't Tell podcast. I am Carlos Anaya, founder of Cafecito Espiritual. This is a space where we go beyond the resume, beyond the titles, beyond the achievements, to explore the stories, struggles, lessons, and truth that shape a man's life. But what happens when the man who protects everyone also has to learn how to receive protection from himself? What happens when discipline meets vulnerability? When strength meets surrender? When the warrior is asked to put down his armor? And when a man discovered that his greatest mission was never about control, but about service. Today we explore leadership, faith, purpose, masculinity, and the invisible weight carried by the men who feel responsible for everyone around them. This is a conversation about the warrior, the protector, and the human being behind the role. This is Gustavo Giordano, and this is Lo que Callan los Hombres. Welcome to Lo que Callan los Hombres.
Thank you very much, Carlos. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure.
I get goosebumps because everybody expects something out of you, a role of protection. What does that mean for you?
Well, I think it's not about what people expect. It's about what you expect from yourself. You know, it's what's your mission in life? You know, what if you can't find it, you are going to do it no matter what. You know, no matter what people expect from you. It's what I think. You know, basically.
And looking back, you know, what lesson kept you showing until you finally pay attention to it? There's something, looking back at your life, what lesson kept showing that something that shows up all the time, that you have to pay attention to?
My inner voice. That's telling me a lot of things that sometimes I can't, you know, tell anyone. So my inner voice is coming every time I'm doing something different, and it's talking to me a lot of things that sometimes it's like my head explode, but still calm. You know, it's yeah.
And you know, your life has always been resolved around protecting others.
Yes.
And do you think your soul came here to learn about protection, or to learn how to receive protection from others?
No, I am here and everywhere, always to learn. I sometimes teach. I am a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu professor, self-defense, etc. But even when I am teaching, I'm learning. It's the best thing that you can do. If you think you are done, you finish learning, I think that's when you make a mistake. You're always learning from everyone.
So what do you think has been harder, to teach others or to trust others, or to trust yourself in the process?
To trust others. And sometimes to trust yourself. When you think, I can't do it, you know, you start doubting about yourself, your abilities, your confidence. But then it's when discipline shows up, you know, when you say, I am ready for this. You know, I did it many times. I trained for this. I learned how to do it. So, yeah, I'm okay with that.
So you think control and safety are not always the same thing?
Say again, sorry?
Do you think control and safety are not the same thing? What is the difference between control and safety?
No, control is... I take always Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to everything in my life, because it's what I love the most and what teach me how to do in life. You know, when you have control, you have everything, because before you submit somebody, before you do anything, you have to get control yourself. You need to control the other person. You need to control the environment. You need to control, you know, the situation. when you lose control, you lose. It's when the threat can show up, and you can have a problem in life, working, protecting, fighting.
It's funny because I think when you're a security specialist, you're always on the duty. You're always like you always have on the guard that something might happen. So even when the mission is over, you're still on duty, correct?
It's something like that, even when I have kids, I have a wife, a family, and you're like always on duty, but in a different way, but you are still protecting your family, still looking around, still scanning, still looking for dangers. And sometimes they say, hey, you're not working. Yeah, but it's what I do, it's my life. It's what I do in my life and in my profession. That's the reason why I love it, It's part of my life. It's not the job itself.
So what martial arts has taught you about calming down and also to lead the pressure down, but also has taught you how to surrender. So when do you surrender when you're practicing martial arts, for example?
Well, actually, I started martial arts when I was 8 years old because I had a situation that taught me to start learning judo. So from there, I never stopped, and I took it like it's my lifestyle. It's what I say before, I take that lessons to my life, to my job. It's everything for me. I don't know what else to do, So yeah.
So there is a big misconception about being a bodyguard and a security specialist. Can you elaborate on that?
It's not in the past or still happening, you need someone say that's a bodyguard. Why? Because he's big, he's massive. I know executive protection officers who are this size and they are amazing doing their job, because a bodyguard, in the past, it was a strong man with big muscles. And the misconception is that you don't need anything else than strength. But you need to do a lot of work before even you start the real job, because you need to do an advanced job. You need to do, evaluate the situation. You need to plan. You need to do an advanced, digital advance, physical advance. If you're traveling to another country, you first do a digital advance to see where you go. Then you're right to the place. You 3-4 days before, you are still already working on that, And you need to be not smart, but you need to study academically, It's not martial arts, shooting, and gym. It's I have more academic training than physical training. I've been training, doing courses and learning many different stuff, at Harvard University, ACES, IFPO, many different institutions that teach you how to do that job, the job that nobody knows, nobody see, it's something that nobody, so the clients see you only when you show up, and you take the client, go over there, nothing happens, perfect. But you did a big job before that,
So I assume that you never use the gun, only when there's an emergency, but it's all about prevention is what I'm assuming, correct?
95% is prevention, for security, for self-defense, or for everything else. If you prevent, if you do a good, always, depending on where you go, if you go to Nigeria, you have more chances to get something wrong, or Mexico with the cartels, or places like that. But doing protection is more about prevention, mostly, yeah.
So a lot of celebrities, a lot of public figures, a lot of dignitaries and presidents use your services as a security specialist. There is something unique about you that they look for you exactly?
I think my experience in different countries, different scenarios, different environments, but also most important thing that they can trust me. When somebody can trust you because they are putting their life in your hands, it's like that, they are giving their lives to you to protect their lives, families, sons, daughters, So the most important thing is trust. If they trust you, you have everything. Then you can make some mistakes as a human being, but if you show them they can trust you, that's the main thing.
Okay, now let's not confuse, security and protection with responsibility, with carrying burdens that were never yours to carry. When do you separate? When people confuse responsibility with carrying burdens that are not yours?
You take responsibility all the time. It's everything about being responsible, being, So in every situation, you carry your responsibility, Yeah, the difference, I think it could be that responsibility, you use it in your life, in your job, in everywhere, every aspect of your life, So being responsible is also a big part of the job,
And what do you think is it that men don't tell?
Say again?
What is it that you think, this show is about lo que callan los hombres. So what do you think men don't tell?
Don't tell? A lot. It's a lot, I think. Especially, and depending on what happened in your childhood, in your days when you were young, a kid, you are bringing a lot of stuff that you realize only when you are getting old, after your, depending, but after your 40s, your 50s, you start feeling the weight that you are bringing from your childhood, and especially for people who work in this profession, who has to be tough. You have to be, the men don't cry, all that stuff. So you never tell to your wife that you have a problem because you don't want to bother her, to worry. You never tell to your partner or the people you are protecting. So the main thing is that the man never talk about himself, So that pain sometimes is hurting you from inside out, and that's sometimes it's danger for you, for your health, especially for your emotions, We need to talk also, We need compassion. We need respect from our people. We are human beings like everyone else, So we have feelings, but we can't show them,
And how do you balance to have emotional health and mental health for the type of work that you do? Because you need to have the three of them combined.
I try to keep myself as much discipline as I can, I get up at 4:45. I try to meditate. I try to do my breath work. I try to go for a cold shower, like a methodically, doing that keeps me calm and healthy, and also help my brain, my mind to be calm, One thing that I found was the most, what helped me the most is the cold water, for example, Every time I go into the cold water, it's like a release for me, I start, I can relax, I can be, but mostly like.
So let's go back to your childhood. What was the most impactful experience that you kept inside?
Well, I can write a book about that, It's because I started working when I was 13 years old, I left home, started working in fishing vessels. I started working and never stopped. So from that, my father left home when I was 1 year old. So we had a lot of things, I grew up with my brother, my oldest brother, my grandma and my mother, but it wasn't hard for me because it is what it is, it's what you got. So for me, it was like simple, it was my life. But then you start living situations where that make a mark on you, and you never talk because your mom are busy. You don't have, even, in the past when we were kids, you couldn't talk. They say you do that, that's it. End of discussion. So from that time to now, I realized some time ago that I need to talk to somebody. So I went to a specialist, to start talking about myself, about what it got inside, what is, not killing me, but what's happening inside me. And I found a lot of things, like I didn't realize. This person say, listen to you again, repeat, and listen to you again. See what you're saying, So, wow, I never thought in that way, And
was it an incident that happened?
No, not a specific incident, but my life story, it's a 13-year-old kid on board of a fishing vessel with 80 people working 12 hours a day, every day, Monday to Monday, after shift, going for a fight because they put money on you to go, like in a movie, it was stories like that. I have thousands, in that time was funny because I was, like I'm living the life of my dreams. It wasn't like that,
It's always surprised me the most that people that have encountered the most difficult situations in life have become this level of resilience. I was 7 years old when my parents decided to come to the United States. Yeah. My father crossed the Mexico, the Mexican border. My mom took a visa. Yeah. A tourist visa, and they stay here for many years as illegal. Yeah. And then I had to stay in Colombia. And I was sexually abused by my uncle and other family members during that process. So I kept it as quiet because I didn't want to break the American dream. I wanted to have a life and to have this American dream that they wanted.
So sorry.
But the price that I paid was really high in terms of...
After that,
the price that you paid... For the American,
inside,
I kept it inside for so many years, and that's why I write Lo que callan los hombres. Yeah. Because I give myself the opportunity for Carly to heal, and also for the inner child to really express what happened. So I could relate to your experience because sometimes we live in a survival mode, but we don't know what's behind that survival mode. What was your survival mode that kept you going?
And I think one of the main reasons that I am protecting people. Is because of that, I didn't have anyone to protect me, so I had to fight by myself. I had to suffer a lot because of all that stuff, and so I think one of the main reasons that I want to protect people, I can't stand somebody to get hurt, So I think most of that is coming from that place where I needed protection and I didn't have it, In many situations, I got a stab. I've been in a shooting in a place where I know myself. Somebody got shot, somebody got killed, fighting, a lot of things that make something inside me. Then I need to. Okay, I say, what's my goal? What I need to do now? I need to protect people, I need to protect everyone, not only my clients. I need to protect my family, my friends. It's always about protecting others,
So what would happen if one day you allow yourself to stop being the protector?
I'll be a protector for life, But if I can't do it anymore, I will do something else. But I am still the same, Still the same person from my childhood to now to whatever, I will stop. I will do another thing. I did for many years commercial diving everywhere in the world as well, And then I say, okay, now I want to do protection. Okay, I go for protection. After this, maybe I can do another thing, but protection is I will be protecting anyway, even if I doesn't work. I don't work in protection.
So what do you think your younger self needed that you never asked for it?
Love, compassion, not compassion, somebody to talk, somebody who help you a little bit more, somebody to say, hey, I need it, But the good thing is that you learn from all that lessons. So now you can teach your kids and you can look after your kids in a different way, in a way that what happened to you is not going to happen to them, I think it's that the most important lesson that I learned.
And also, you have mastered external environmental situations that are very dangerous situations.
Yeah.
And, what inner territory are you still learning to navigate and to learn about survival skills?
I need to learn sometimes to be silence in some situations, not talking about life, just talking about, I need to keep myself a little bit quiet in some situations, but sometimes I cannot, I need to react. And that's wrong sometimes, but I still working on it. It is what it is, you're always learning and always improving. That's the most important thing. You never know everything, that you need to know that you are always learning. You always can learn from you, from her, from anyone. So, yeah.
I think there's also an illusion of control because control is an illusion.
Of course.
So
you don't have any control.
Exactly. There's always a higher power that takes care of us. But
absolutely.
In that sense, how do you think faith and spirituality has played a role in your life?
Everything. Faith is everything, every single day. Because I can tell you a lot of situations that has no explanation at all, and only faith was, my only resource, in that situations. And it's always about that for me. It's always about faith, God, and belief,
So what do you think your soul came to experience in this lifetime? What was the lesson that your soul came to do here?
I think one of the main reasons is to protect people. And I found that I need to talk a little bit more about what I think, about God, my faith, and all that stuff. I think I came here for that reasons, and I need to work a little bit more on that, because now I found it, I think. So, I need to work in that.
So what service has done to you, this protecting service? How do you think it has healed you? Because I think you have the gift of service.
Every time I do something like now I'm coming back from Mexico, and I enjoyed a lot. Not just because the place, because the job itself, the people I was looking after, my partners in Mexico, and I forgot the question.
Yeah, because service is important in your life. You always at service. You're always helping.
You're always helping. Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Yeah, always helping, trying to help people anywhere, It's, it heals me because I feel, I feel good. I feel grateful. I feel alive. Right now I am really, really feeling bad about the situation in Venezuela because I want to help them. I want to find a way to help them. I am helping in silence, but I want to help a little bit more, and that makes me feel, much better, when I help somebody.
It's interesting because you define what a man is in all of the aspects, not only emotionally, but physically, but spiritually. And there's a big confusion about being machista, that men have to have this strong look, and they have to look a certain way, and they have to act a certain way to be men. And I think you break all the stereotypes of what the definition of a man is. So I think you are like complete as a whole in all of the aspects, physically, emotionally, spiritually. What message do you have for that misconception that men have to have this certain stereotype of men?
One thing I want to be clear enough, it's you need to be fit. You need to be physically strong to protect everyone, even if you are not a protector. It's for healthy reasons. And also because you want to protect your family, you need to be strong. You need to be You cannot be big. You have what you have, but physical strength is very important, But the most important thing, some people write to me and say, "Oh, what I have to do protection, what I have to do. I'm going to the gym. I'm doing MMA. I'm doing Jiu-Jitsu." That's for you. That's your stuff. Mm-hmm. You need to start reading. You need to start looking after what you need to do to handle a situation before it happens. You need to do academic training. You need to learn how to protect people, but not physically. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, my message is you need to be you need the full package.
The full package.
The full package.
Because then you have all these macho men that they have no emotional intelligence, and they look like dummies.
Yeah, but some of them, they look really strong, big, and tough guys. But sometimes you start talking to them, they open up, and you can see the man inside, the big man,
Which is a child that is crying for help.
Child who sometimes is crying more than, It's it's about that, You never judge the book for the cover,
Yeah, we never judge a book by its cover, and that's what we do in Lo que callan los hombres.
Absolutely.
We try to educate and to really men to open up and really talk about the wounds and have a space, a safe space for them to communicate. So protection has always been your profession, has always been there. Protection has been your profession for life, your discipline, your identity. So who is Gustavo Giordano when no longer has to protect anyone?
It is a man who loves his family, who loves to be a father, who loves to play with the kids, who loves to do sports, and it's a simple man with a really interesting story behind my back, that's Gustavo. Yeah.
And what is your heart seeking at this moment? What is your heart? What is your crying? What is the heart desire at this moment?
Hardest thing for me now.
The heart desire, your heart.
It's to get my family here. I miss my family. They are back at home, but just because they need to finish school. And all that stuff. So I've been alone now for 3 months. I always am alone, sometimes for 2-3 months away in Africa or everywhere. But now it's like I am feeling a little bit alone, missing my boys, missing my wife, missing my pets. And yeah, that's I need my family here, yeah.
So you have to give me a secret. When someone looks very strong and confident, and there is a sense of that they have it all together.
Yeah.
It's not like that. The book doesn't sometimes, there has to be something, there has to be a sense of vulnerability in every man, correct?
They could be, but every man has a vulnerability, Everyone has one. Even the one who say, no, I am the man, I am the blah, blah, blah. I think when they talk in that way, they are even, hiding more stuff inside, it's, that guys they are good, they are amazing. Sometimes you need that guy with you, because you're not strong enough, you're not big enough to take 3-4 people, so you need that guy. But inside that guy, there is a small child as well, that they have a vulnerability for sure, 100%.
I always believe that ego kills everything. Ego kills relationships, ego kills friendships. So how do you break the ego of a man?
Depending, sometimes being egocentric, it's in the good meaning, it's a good thing, because I don't know if it's ego, but you need to love yourself before anybody else. If you cannot love yourself, you cannot love anyone, That's what I think. You need to be, they say, okay, you took a picture of yourself. I need to do some, you need to love yourself. Sometimes you need to keep your ego alive in a good way, Just then you can help others, you can love others, you can do a lot of things. But yes, some people, they have too much ego.
Así es.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you like this conversation, share it with a man that might need it, because sometimes the biggest gift that we could give to another man is to stop being in silence. So, this is Carlos Anaya, and I see you next time en Lo que callan los hombres.